Hey everyone, it's Liz, the Frugal Libertarian. Oh, I feel kind of bad. Like, all my videos are becoming anti-liberal videos, and that's really not my intention. That was not what I set out to do. But for some reason, libertarians and liberals seem to really butt heads. We seem to really disagree with each other. So it seems like all the video topics I keep coming up with are kind of what liberals say versus what libertarians say. And I apologize. I'm not trying to bash anybody. But there's a couple of things that I've noticed, which again are things liberals say, more on the socialist side tend to say of liberals. The first is really easy to discuss, and that is this attitude that the people who say there's too much money in politics, and then they go on to list all of the conservative donors who donate millions of dollars, like the Koch brothers and all this kind of, oh, it's so outrageous. Well, unfortunately for them, here's a debunk for you. The top donor in 2016 of donating individual funds, I'm not talking about super PACs, I'm not talking about union donations, any of that. I'm talking about total donations from an individual, was from a liberal named Tom Steyer, who donated a whopping $83 million to liberal campaigns. $83 million. He is the top donor. He donated a lot more money than the Koch brothers. He donated more money than the Adelsons, who most of the people who bash more high-profile conservatives like the Koch brothers don't have any idea who the Adelsons are, and that they tend to donate more money than the Koch brothers do. But they're also conservatives. It's just sort of ironic. I mean, Tom Steyer gives more money than George Soros. And yet, I've seen nothing but memes with conservative names and a list of conservatives and how much they donated to campaigns, and isn't this evil? Look at all that money. But these are people complaining that person donated 40 million. They donated 45 million only to conservatives. That's horrible. They need to be stopped. Yet not a single one of them, not one, has mentioned the $83 million, almost double of what some conservatives donate that they're complaining about. They never mention him. They never sit there and say, oh my God, we gotta stop this guy. This one guy is donating more than some of these people combined. We need to stop him. They never say that. They want the money out of the conservative side, but they want more money in the liberal side. To me, it's just hypocrisy. It's just hypocrisy. You can't sit there. And then you add to that, I'm sorry, but all of the super PACs and union donations, the majority of those tend to go to the liberal candidates. And when you factor that in, the money becomes even more explosive. And it kind of ties into the second point I wanted to make in this video, which is this attitude that it is socialism and liberalism that are kind and giving and loving to individuals, and they do good, and that especially the libertarians were evil and selfish and greedy. And how dare you? I don't think it's selfish to keep what belongs to you, first of all. I think that's not the definition of selfishness. Selfishness is keeping other people's things for yourself, which is what socialism tries to do. But this is especially telling, the oppositeness of this. Whenever you talk about specific policies that have damaged people, that may have damaged you personally, I'm sorry, but if there is a law out there that negatively affects one person out of their control, our system of government is supposed to protect that person from being injured. Liberal policy is, let's injure them further so that the community can benefit. If I personally am benefiting from it, then screw you, person over here. You can go to hell, because I'm benefiting. That's selfish. That's horribly selfish. That's the worst kind of selfishness. I've said it before. The whole liberal versus libertarian, where the liberal will stomp on you to get their way, whereas the libertarian says, I'll walk around you because I don't need to stomp on you. I'd rather just leave you alone over there. That's incredibly, incredibly selfish. And that's why all of these programs, these liberal programs, that's how they're defended. You go online, for every 3 people saying this is ridiculous, it costs too much money, the benefits are a joke, this is a bad piece of legislature, it should have never been written. And I'm not just talking about the Affordable Care Act, I'm talking about other stuff in addition to it. For every 3 people are saying that, there's one a-hole going, well, it benefited me. I like it. Let's keep it. The point of government is not to make your life better than everyone else's, to screw everyone else so that you can get some improvement. Government is supposed to be to protect you from being damaged by someone else and to protect you from being damaged by itself. You're basically saying you don't care who gets damaged or how, as long as you end up on top. And then you have the nerve to say to somebody like me, to say to someone like my husband, to say to my family, my friends, that we're the selfish ones because we're denying you the ability to stomp on everyone else? No. No. You are the selfish one, not us. Not us. We are people who make do. We are people who complain when we have a right to complain. We're people who have been damaged by the government. We're people... This whole thing, it's a joke. It's a joke. It literally, that's what it comes down to. Politicians don't care about law. They don't care about order. They don't care about rights. They care about getting reelected, and they're willing to screw over as many people as it takes to get enough votes to get reelected. And that's what's wrong with this country. You want to sit there and talk about how the conservative monster that gave us Donald Trump is the problem. No. The liberal selfishness, the liberal refusal to deal with reality, the liberal idea that you're smarter and better and more competent than all you lowly peons, we can do whatever we want to you. The liberal idea that majorities should rule, that the mob should rule. The liberal idea that it doesn't matter if one person is damaged. That one person doesn't matter. The 99 are what matters. No. That one person is who matters. This is why liberalism and socialism has given birth to some of the most horrifying human rights violations and atrocities in human history. Look at the democratic socialist Vladimir Lenin. Look at him. How many people died under him? How many people were killed under him? And then look at what he put in place and how many people were killed, were slaughtered by his successor, Stalin. Look at the people who are dying in Venezuela. Look at the people who risked death by ocean on a homemade raft to leave Cuba. And that brings me to point number 3, by the way. Sorry this video is getting very long. I'm just like unloading all of my liberal directed anger. Point number 3. The socialist argument, the liberal socialist argument, that libertarianism will not work because there is no real-world application that we can point to where it's effective and working properly. But every real-world example of socialism, communism, democratic socialism you can give that is a complete failure, and all of the lives you can point to that have been ruined by it, literally ruined. I'm saying lives that have been extinguished by it, is not proof that their ideas don't work. Why? Because they say, well, it hasn't been done properly yet. It hasn't been done properly yet. And don't go, well, what about Scandinavian countries? You mean the countries that have made a point of saying we're not socialists, don't call us democratic socialists because we're not? We have a huge number of social programs, but we're not democratic socialists, so shut your mouth, Bernie Sanders. Oh, that Denmark? The real examples of true socialism in action are horrifying. Horrifying. And yet, every socialist in America will turn to you and say, oh, well, if so-and-so was running it, then it would be working properly. Then it would be a real-world example. You see, your real-world examples that are negative aren't really examples because they weren't done exactly right. And then they have the audacity to look at us and say, well, it hasn't been tried yet, so it won't work. Yours has been tried and doesn't work. But you can look at us and say, it won't work because it hasn't been tried. Keep trying my thing that keeps failing. I understand the echo chamber. I understand the whole college system. The fact that Boston Magazine released a piece about how in the Northeast US, where I am, the college professors who identify as a liberal are 23-1 with the conservatives on campus. Professors, employees of schools, colleges, universities in the Northeast, 23-1. The fact that it would be any more than 1-1 is bad enough. 23-1, there is almost no chance of a kid going to college in the northeastern part of the United States and not coming out of it a socialized liberal. There is almost no chance. It kind of makes sense why we keep getting it, why it keeps happening. Because if kids go into higher education here, all they're going to hear, class after class, regardless of the actual topic of the class, all they're going to have screamed at them is liberalism. Socialism, yay! Socialism works! Socialism's fair! Socialism's kind! Socialism's great! Over and over and over again. How many things, I mean, it's like a form, it's not a form of, it's literal brainwashing. You know, it's you take the kid, and if you tell somebody something so many times, if they don't have the internal strength of will, if they don't have the internal common sense to stand back and go, whoa, everything you're saying makes no sense, they're just going to believe it. They're just going to agree with it, and they're just going to run with it. Because most people, I hate to say it, most people are sheep. Most people are lemmings. If you see everyone else doing it, then okay, let's go do it. So if you're being told over and over and over again by the 23-1 liberal professor that the conservatives are evil, the libertarians are selfish, you hear it over and over and over again, you're going to start to believe it too. You're going to start to believe the trigger warnings are a necessary part of society, that businesses should have safe spaces, and you shouldn't be fired for making petitions to change the dress code at the place you're interning in. You're going to end up with more of these idiots who just believe this, not because common sense has given it to them, not because life experience has given it to them, because a bunch of people with tenure who are all just saying the same thing back and forth to each other, created a liberal echo chamber, are just going to be what they hear. That's all they're going to hear. And they're going to say that everyone else is a jerk, everyone else is selfish, everyone else is cruel. But they're kind. And then they're going to sit there and say, I don't care if I have to trample you because I'm the kind one. I'm the one who cares about the poor. You don't care about the poor enough to ease regulations to let them earn a living for themselves. You would rather just steal the living from someone else and give it to them. That's not charity. Charity is giving out of the goodness of your heart something you have, whether it is money, property, or labor, time, skills. That's charity. Taking from someone to give to someone else is theft. Or destroying 4 people under the guise of saving one. You don't actually have to save them. You just have to pretend like you're going to. Doesn't matter who many people you trample. As long as you benefit in the end, doesn't matter. That's the most awful thing in the world. So anyway, I apologize. This video ended up longer and ended up going over some stuff I wasn't planning on ranting on today. This was like 4 videos worth of material shoved in at once. I apologize. If you've stuck through to the end, please hit subscribe. I do other videos like this, usually Wednesdays. If there's additional material, I release it on other days, but you will at minimum get a topic on Wednesday, and I do other stuff as well, but hit subscribe so you can be notified for that. Leave me in the comments what you think. And please try to tell me, someone reassure me that humanity will survive this time, because I honestly, I don't see how it can. This is the stuff that destroyed Rome. This is the stuff that destroyed all great civilizations, that they all collapsed in on themselves as the rights of the individual started to get trampled for the rights of the majority. So anyway, I am Liz, the Frugal Libertarian, and I'll talk to you another time when I hopefully feel more optimistic. Take care. Be kind to someone, please. Real kindness, not fake kindness.